Azura is the only Daedric princess I have ever worshipped who seems to care about her followers. Molagbal wanted my mind, Boethia wanted my arms, and Nocturnal perhaps my curiosity. Azura wants all of that, and our love above all. Not our abject slavering, but our honest and genuine caring in all of its forms. It is important to her that our emotions be engaged in her worship, and our love must also be directed inward. If we love her and hate ourselves, she feels our pain. I will for all time have no other mistress. When you think of Azura, when you see her towering stone effigy reaching over the mountain peaks, sun and moon in hand, dominating the horizon, you may perceive her as a lover and a nurturer. Or maybe you'll see her as scorned and bitter, eager to utter curses at all who wrong her. Evidence of her curses can be seen in the ashen skin and blood-red eyes of the Dunmer, yet still they revere her. To me, the most fascinating thing about Azura is the way she can somehow be portrayed as both benevolent and spiteful seemingly simultaneously. She lives at both ends of the spectrum, yet her worshippers, like Sigilla Parat quoted above, claim she is the embodiment of love and care, both for others and ourselves. Could it be hypocrisy? Or is there a method to her madness? With the Daedric Lords, it is seldom clear to mortals, what with their terribly predictable grasp of morality, of good and evil. But as always, Drew the Daedrologist is here to delve into this very question, making bold philosophical assertions about entities we have no hope of ever truly understanding. Hey guys, it's Drew here and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. In this video we're going to tackle the lore of Azura, learning all there is to know about the Queen of Dawn and Dusk. Her sphere is a lot more open to interpretation than most princes, as she holds dominion over rather abstract concepts. But hopefully by the end of the video you'll have a new appreciation for her. Let's start off by getting to know her. Azura is the Daedric Prince of Dawn and Dusk, the magic in between realms of twilight. She's also the representative of vanity and egotism. She is often called the Queen of Dawn and Dusk, Mother of the Rose, and the Queen of the Night Sky. Usually when we establish the sphere of a Daedric prince, we immediately have a pretty firm grasp of what they're all about. For Molagbal, it's good old-fashioned enslavement. We can quite easily gauge his alien value system. For Clavicus Vile, it's deals and wagers. You can trust the fact that he is entirely untrustworthy. But the Dawn and Dusk, this is what I mean by abstract. As a Daedric prince, Azura played no part in the creation of the mortal realm of Mundus. She is not a part of the Earthbones as the Daedric divines are, so she has no literal control over the day-night cycle in the mortal plane. We also know that the moons are Lorkhan's duality. They are his wandering body torn in two, and the sun is the hole left by Magnus the Architect when he left Mundus, bound for Aetherius. So once again, Azura does not have any ownership over the physical sun or moons. In a literal sense, the only things Azura has left are vanity and egotism, and those traits are commonly perceived as negative by modern mortals. There must be more to her sphere, some alternate meaning to her dawn and dusk, and her vanity that evades the eye at first glance. Well, we'll delve more into that shortly, once we've finished talking about her realm and her artifacts. Azura's plane of Oblivion is called Moonshadow, and it is so beautiful to behold that the temptation never to return to reality is overbearing in even the most strong-willed mortals. The renowned travelling conjurer Morian Zenus was fortunate enough to visit Moonshadow on his interplanar pilgrimage, and through his description we can see why Azura and her realm may be associated with vanity. Aesthetically, it is so pleasing that it strains the eyes. Too much beauty, Zenus gasped when he went to the next realm. I am half blind. I see flowers and waterfalls, majestic trees, a city of silver, but it is all a blur. The colours run like water. It's raining now and the wind smells like perfume. This surely is Moonshadow, where Azura dwells. Zenus was right, and astonishingly, he even had audience with the Queen of Dusk and Dawn in her Rose Palace. She listened to his tale with a smile, and told him of the coming of the Nerevarine. My master found Moonshadow so lovely he wished to stay there, half blind forever, but he knew he must move on and complete his journey of discovery. She has 3 known artifacts, the first being the Ring of Azura. Little is known of this piece of jewellery. It was gifted to the Nerevarine upon the fulfilment of their prophecy. She has another ring called Moon and Star, which was most notably worn by Indoril Nerevar, the Chimera hero. The ring lent Nerevar supernatural powers of persuasion and indisputable proof of identity, since any other who tried to wear it would be killed instantly. The moon and star helped Nerevar unite the warring Chimera clans, and form the first council with the Dwemer. Moon and Star played a role in the Nerevarine prophecies, as it allowed the Nerevarine, the reincarnation of Nerevar, to again unite the Great Houses and Ashlander clans, this time in the battle against the forces of Dagoth-Ur. Comparing this artifact to the Grey Cowl of Nocturnal is a good parallel for the nature of the two Daedric princes. The ring offers proof of identity, and was created by a prince who wants to be adored by mortals, while the cowl offers anonymity, and was created by a prince who demands no veneration, preferring to be left alone. Azura's final artifact is called Azura's Star. This artifact functions like soul gems with infinite capacity, but will only capture white souls, for the use of black souls is considered far more sinister. White souls are more accepted, as they use the raw energy of the soul without capturing the sentience or consciousness, allowing the afflicted soul to safely pass to the afterlife. Black souls, however, they travel to the soul cairn, where they are trapped eternally. Despite Azura's attempts to keep her artifact from being used on black souls, it is susceptible to corruption, allowing it to transform into the Black Star. An overarching theme associated with Azura is that she wishes to be loved, and by extension, for mortals to love one another. As a result, she detests betrayal, corruption, and deception. Her abhorrence for these traits are the reason she's notorious for her curses. She's not the kind of woman, or spirit in the visual form of a woman, you'd want to break up with. She's the kind of ex who would absolutely get revenge. The Nerevarine prophecy is a great example of the lengths she will go to denounce betrayal. Azura was one of the founders of the Chimera people, while Boethia taught them to renounce their ties with the Aldmar, and Mephala taught them to outwit and defeat their enemies. Azura taught them the mysteries needed to be different from the Aldmar. Azura favoured the Chimera hero Indoril Nerevar, and gifted him her artifact to help him unite the Chimera and the Dwemer into the powerful nation of Resdayn. Azura had her reasons to dislike the secular heretical Dwemer, which we'll get into shortly, but their attempts to utilise the Heart of Lorkhan led to the dissolution of the unification and the subsequent War of the First Council. At its conclusion, during the Battle of Red Mountain, Kagrenac and the Dwemer disappeared, some claiming that it was Kagrenac's fault, while others claiming that it was in fact Azura who caused it. Either way, Azura instructed Nerevar and the Tribunal never to use the Heart of Lorkhan, for it was a power not intended for mortals. But Azura's champion Indoril Nerevar was murdered, and the heart bestowed the free mortals of the Tribunal with the power of gods. The Daedra Lord Azura appeared and cursed us for our forsworn oaths. By her powers of prophecy, she assured us that her champion Nerevar, true to his oath, would return to punish us for our perfidy, and to make sure such profane knowledge might never again be used to mock and defy the will of the gods. But Sophasil said to her, "The old gods are cruel and arbitrary, and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past. We are the new gods, born of the flesh, and wise and caring of the needs of our people. Spare us your frets and chiding, inconstant spirit. We are bold and fresh, and will not fear you." And then, in that moment, all Chimera were changed into Dunmer, and our skins turned ashen and our eyes into fire. Of course, we only knew at that time that this had happened to us, but Azura said, "This is not my act, but your act. You have chosen your fate and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate, from now to the end of time. You think yourselves gods, but you are blind, and all is darkness." And Azura left us alone in darkness, and we were all afraid. But we put on brave faces, and went forth from Red Mountain to build the new world of our dreams. And as Azura promised, Nerevar did return, in the form of the Nerevarine in the 427th year of the Third Era, to destroy the power-hungry Dagoth-Ur, to remove the godhood of the Tribunal, and to destroy the Heart of Lorkhan. This is not the only instance in which Azura has experienced betrayal at the hands of mortals. Ironically, she is quite prone to being the subject of deception in her pursuit of love. In the Khajiit pantheon, Azura is a sister to Mara, the mother goddess and goddess of love, and in many ways they have similar values. As a mother figure to the Dunmer and the Khajiit, Azura is capable of great displays of love just like Mara, but unlike Mara, it so often comes back to bite her. Maybe it is because she's not a divine and rather a Daedra Lord. It's hard not to hear the title Daedric Prince without a negative connotation after all. Maybe Azura is one of the princes most regretful about their lack of involvement in the moulding of the Mundus. She seems to me like a force willing to take a chance on Lorkhan's proposal. Whatever the truth, Azura's many betrayals at the hands of her beloved mortals have made her embittered, and she will not hesitate to respond with horrible curses like the one given to the newly formed Dunmer race. She wants to be seen as a deity, a protector and a provider, and ironically this faith in mortals leads many to take advantage, whether by sullying her artifacts or playing tricks on her, capitalising on her willingness to humour mortals. There is of course the story of Malin Varen, the necromancer who plotted to corrupt her star into the Black Star, but there is also a story of the Dwemer. This is the story that some say inspired her hatred for the rational race of underground elves, and it is also a primary piece of evidence used to suggest it was Azura who caused the Dwemer disappearance, not Kagranak. Nachilbar was a wise old dwarf who had devoted his latter years to discovering truths and dispelling superstitions. He came to the conclusion that the mortal deities were not omnipotent, but were simply fabrications of Man and Mer. To prove his hypothesis, he summoned Azura before his pupils. The wise dwarf revealed a large wooden box and asked the Queen of Dawn and Dusk to display her absolute knowledge by guessing what was inside. Azura was offended by the gesture. "If I am to demonstrate my might in a way to bring the Dwemer race to understanding, it might have been a more impressive feat you would have me do," growled Azura, and turned to look Nachilbar in the eyes. "There is a red-petaled flower in the box." Nachilbar did not smile or frown. He simply opened the box and revealed to all that it was empty. When the students turned to look to Azura, she was gone. In her wake, a curse fell upon those present. As he was escorted up the stairs to his bed, a red flower petal fell from the sleeve of his voluminous robe. Nachilbar died that night, a portrait of peace that comes from contented knowledge. The moral of this story, as shown through Azura's wounded pride and Nachilbar's sleight of hand, was that even though Azura did guess correctly, the dwarf's deception made her doubt herself, and she thought herself wrong. This heresy taught the Dwemer that even gods could be wrong, but disrespecting Azura had led to a curse, no doubt to one of the Dwemer race, proving that point was well worth his martyrdom. The final piece of this exploration of Azura comes back to the salient point of the video. What is the deal with her sphere? Dawn and dusk, vanity and egotism. It doesn't really coincide with everything else we've talked about. Well, this is where we need to scrutinise the meanings of these words a little further. Vanity, especially by modern standards, has a very negative connotation. There is a stigma associated with being egotistical. In many places, like in Daggerfall, Azura's vanity is perceived as her wanting to be surrounded by hapless servants, and adoring fans so in love with her that they were utterly hopeless in every other regard. To the Bretons, her vanity was that simple. It's quite fitting that the adoring fan in Cyrodiil loves to reference this particular Daedra Lord then, for he satiates the vanity of the Grand Champion and offers his unfaltering fanaticism. But in Morrowind, where the natives have a deeper, more nuanced respect for Azura, her vanity takes a different shape. It's here in the Dunmer territory that we hear her referred to as the Queen of Dawn and Dusk. This vanity is closer to the pre-Enlightenment definition of the word. This is when vanity was a form of artistic expression. Vanity was capturing youthful beauty as oil on canvas, making the ephemeral elegance of a naked woman posing on a lounge last an eternity in the form of an artwork. The Wikipedia entry for vanity uses this quote by Mason Cooley to sum up Azura's vanity. "Vanity well fed is benevolent, vanity hungry is spiteful," and it was that line that seemed uncannily true of Azura. If someone is loved and revered, they are prone to kindness, but if they are scorned, they are prone to bitterness and become dangerous. Azura embodies the duality of vanity. There is the dawn, vanity nurtured by the sun and able to flourish, and then there is the dusk, vanity left in the darkness, neglected and forced to fester. When mortals worship Azura, she is caring, but when they deceive her, she will curse them. Azura to me is the hardest Daedric prince to analyse, even more so than Nocturnal, who wishes not to be understood. I hope you enjoyed the video guys, and maybe you learned a thing or two along the way. Thanks so much for watching, my name is Drew, and I will see you next time.